In the most stressful days of my corporate jobs, my teammates and I would look at each other and say, let's go open a food truck. Well, today on Franchise Spotlight, we're featuring a concept that makes that dream both fun and real. Picture a food truck that looks like a ballpark. It has foot-long hot dogs, pretzels, and nachos with lines moving fast, zero waste prep, and even a walking vendor like you'd see at a game. We're diving into a sports-themed, family-friendly concept built for festivals, youth leagues, schools, breweries, and corporate events. Let's put a spotlight on Stadium on Wheels.
Having a hot dog or nachos or a pretzel at a ballpark, it's one of my favorite places to be, and it's one of my favorite things to do.
I love the feeling of seeing people enjoying themselves and enjoying time with family. It's just nice seeing people gathering and having a good time. Hey, how can I help you guys today?
I've always been a baseball fan, and I've always been a foodie. Combining those two things and just bringing them to the community, watching all the kids and the fans rooting for their home team, and I want to bring that to the streets. We're not your normal food truck. We have our inflatable stadium, the light up marquee. It's definitely a showstopper.
We really want to give it that wow factor, the team spirit, the camaraderie. We love how people gather together and really have an experience.
We just love seeing people be happy and just enjoying their time. Growing up, I loved Chicago-style hot dogs. Olivia and I are from Chicagoland. We created kind of a twist on the Chicago-style hot dog. We call it the stadium dog. It has ketchup and mustard, relish, onions, pickle spear with a steamed bun, and when it's paired all together, it just tastes awesome. That's definitely my favorite menu item.
I love having just like the soft doughy pretzel and the savory taste of that, so I'm a big pretzel fan.
We offer everything under the moon. We have our lemonade, we have our kettle jack for a little side snack, desserts with our icy floats. Probably one of the most popular trucks at an event just because of all the options that we provide. It's good to know some baseball facts because you're always going to get people coming up to you, and it's good to banter back and forth while you're kind of preparing their ballpark meal for them. The inflatable stadium is definitely one of the highlights to our food truck. The kids love us. The ball hovers above a little cone and they can hit it into little holes in the backdrop. It's definitely fun for people of all ages.
So having the flexibility of working on a food truck is really important in our lifestyle because we want to have time for ourselves and our family. We've always thought that this would be a great concept just to bring nationwide. We're very flexible, it's seasonal, so it's really important for us and our family and our franchisees to have that time.
We don't want to be just the normal everyday food truck. We're an experience. We want people to come up to us and just be wowed by it and talk about it. It's baseball, it's fun, it's nostalgic. That's definitely what we're aiming for, and I feel like people do love it. We don't want to be your average food truck. We want to be your stadium on wheels.
Very excited to be here with you, Steven and Olivia Guistolise from Stadium on Wheels. Super excited to chat with you about your concept, the food truck concept that you put together. Very unique, very interesting. So looking forward to speaking with you both today.
Yeah, thank you so much, Scott. We really appreciate you having us on.
Great. So first of all, let's back up for a second. Now, you guys have been running this concept yourselves for a while. Could you tell us a little bit about the backstory? You know, where you started and how you got into it?
Yeah, so we started in 2019. We started in the Chicagoland area. We're both born and raised Chicagoans, and it was something that came out of my dislike of the corporate world.
Okay.
I had a job that I just didn't like. And I've always been such a huge baseball fan. I always wanted to find a career in baseball. I would always look on LinkedIn and all the websites, the career building websites, just to see if I could find something in baseball. I never really found anything. And I've always been a foodie, and we've both always been foodies.
And obviously, being raised in Chicago, we all love the Chicago style hot dog.
Yeah.
Oh,
So we
yeah.
figured blending
Yeah.
the two together would be a great concept.
Yeah, and definitely just ballpark food in general. It's a fast, easy concept. You know, when you're at a ball game, you got to feed the masses. And I thought it would just be a perfect concept for a food truck in the food truck industry. So
We notice a lot of food trucks, but not lots of them have a theme to it. You know, other than just their cuisine. Oh, you know, we serve Mexican food, we serve Hawaiian food, we serve Venezuelan food, but there's not a theme to outside of their cuisine.
yeah,
Right.
So we figured, okay, why don't we do hot dogs, but put a twist on it, put a theme on it, make it fun, you know?
yeah. So we really designed our trucks all to look like an actual baseball stadium. We made it a little bit more broad as the years passed to make it more all encompassing, so that it showcased just sports in general. So we're really great at like football games, soccer games.
Yeah, but originally we started out being called Moonshots Baseball. Moonshots being a baseball term.
Okay. Okay.
It's a, you know, high flying home run.
Yeah.
But yes, then we wanted to kind of be more broad and be sports themed. So then we rebranded to Stadium on Wheels.
Yeah, well, I think it's a great concept. I've seen some of the video, images of the trucks and images of serving at events. Again, I think it's a real nice, unique look, good style, and some interesting elements to your delivery, which we are definitely going to get into. So thanks for sharing a bit about the concept and the background, and really when we think about who this serves, right? I mean the food trucks can be anywhere. Are there any particular places, events, or areas where it does particularly well in your experience operating your food trucks?
Yes, so because we are very family friendly and kid friendly, we do really good at events where there's a lot of families and young kids.
Okay.
Kids just love our food because, again, parents, they have picky eaters. They want something simple. They know that the kid will eat no matter what. They don't want to spend money and then the kid just throws it away or takes one bite and spits it out. You know.
Sure.
So I would say sports events, school events, church events, big celebrations like 4th of July, things like that.
Yeah.
Anything else you can think of?
Yeah, we also do great at corporate events.
Yeah.
Okay.
Corporate catering.
Yeah, talk to me a little bit about the food you serve, right? Because when you think about running the business, I mean, it's very fun to go buy food from a food truck. It's great to get ballpark food, but that's very different than running the business, right? So the things you worry about, spoilage and all the things, what's going to cost me money and how easy will it be to make and deliver. Talk a little bit about the food you serve and what goes into the menu, the thought you've put into that.
Yeah, so everything on our menu is very easy, simple to get out the window quick, simple to cook up very quickly. Our hot dogs, our pretzels, just the cheese, the chili, everything we can store and freeze. So you don't have to have any sort of prep work beforehand or anything like that. We just have a very easy concept. We don't deal with oil, propane, grease.
Everything's all electric.
Everything's all electric on the
nice.
trucks. So
Okay.
basically, once you get into an event, you'll pull out the things out of your fridge or freezer. You can cook them up in a minute or two and just get them out the window. So
We have run this truck to the point where there's zero waste because once the event's winding down, we know to only throw one hot dog in the steamer at a time, and so that we have zero waste.
yeah.
So they're pretty much made to order. But again, obviously, when you're busier, you can throw a bunch of hot dogs in there.
Okay, great. Now, I remember when I first was hearing about your concept, you're talking about the evolution of the hot dog. You started with some small ones and you kind of moved on. Tell that story a little bit about what people are actually seeing and getting when they order from your, what's the experience like of receiving food from the Stadium on Wheels?
Yeah. So, there's a lot of hot dog vendors out there. There's a lot of hot dog carts and things like that. A lot of them just sell the 6-inch hot dog. That's what we did when we first started with our little trailer. And we just sold strictly 6-inch hot dogs. We found that our average ticket price was a lot lower than the other food trucks that were out there. And we were like, hey, what's going on? Like, all these trucks are making over $1,000, $1,500 every event. We're making like $500 or $600. So, we
How could we up that ticket price?
Yeah, how could we up the ticket price? How could we make our menu more broad? How can we be more eye-catching? So we decided to switch to Footlong hot dogs.
Exclusively.
Exclusively, yeah. So that definitely boosted our average ticket price. That boosted just the cool factor of, wow, do you see that truck over there? They sell Footlong hot dogs, and
Because it's pretty rare to come across a Footlong hot dog unless you're at a stadium.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
It also goes with with the theme of our truck.
And then that's kind of when we decided, hey, why don't we make everything Footlong? So we decided to make our pretzels Footlong. We decided to make our nachos Footlong that came in the same Footlong box as the hot dog and the pretzel. So it was just a win-win-win-win-win because we could use all of our food goes in the same box. It was more eye-catching. It upped our ticket sales. So it was just a win on all ends.
It's also, I feel like it's a little bit more efficient. You kind of like less work for more dollars.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly.
Right.
I mean, just cooking one hot dog that's a foot longer is cooking 2 6-inch hot dogs, and making them separate.
Yeah.
And we thought we would get a little bit of pushback from the foot longs, and people were like, oh, I don't want to have that much food. But honestly, all you have to say is, hey, you can cut it in half. We can give you a fork and knife. We'll cut it in half for you. You can share it with someone, and we never have an issue with that.
Yeah, we never
then they
get
just buy
pushback.
it. They give the half of it to their son or daughter, and they eat the other half with themselves.
Yeah.
So we just say, hey, we can cut it in half, and you can share it.
Yeah, people love it. So it's definitely was a game changer for us.
Yep.
No, that's great. That's great. That's kind of the beauty of bringing your lessons learned to the market, right? So franchisees, when they're trying to launch a concept like this and serve their community, those are some of the lessons you've learned, and I think that's great. Let's talk a little bit more on the business side then. Again, I think the concept is fantastic. The theme is very cool. The trucks look great. I've seen the pictures, the videos. In addition to what we've talked about already, what do you think makes this stand out from competitors? As you mentioned, there's a lot of hot dog concepts. There's also a lot of food truck concepts, right? Mm-hmm. So why would this stand out from competitors? Why would someone want to be a part of this as opposed to a different food truck concept?
Yeah, so our concept, it really is one of the easiest to run. If you look at some of the more popular food trucks out on the road, barbecue trucks are huge.
A lot of prep work.
But yeah, you got a lot of prep work. You got a lot of waste. That's the same with even like taco trucks. They deal with raw meat, and that's something that's a lot of prep work. That's a lot. The health department comes in and really keeps an eye on you. With us, we have frozen food that it's still quality food. We have quality
all beef hot dogs,
but we can get those. We can freeze them, our concept is just very easy to run. There's a lot of food truck franchises out there that they sell most of the food truck franchises sell just desserts. If you really look at it, and with desserts, you really can't get that prepaid catering, which that's really a big focus. Just in the food world in general. Yes. You look at businesses, like Jimmy John's, they go out, they can go and cater.
I mean, we get a catering event pretty much every week. Mm-hmm. And it's really great for the off season during the winter times when people aren't really outside doing events and festivals outdoors. Mm-hmm. You can get booked for prepaid catering, and that's where we make our money during the off season as well.
That was I'm glad you brought that up, Olivia, because Chicago, I mean, this is not like a South only, beautiful weather only concept, right? I mean, talk about the seasonality of this, and how do you level out so you're not just making money, a few months a year?
Yeah, so obviously there's a peak season in the food truck industry. Usually it's during the spring, summer, fall. So usually you'll get a good 6 to 8 months depending on where you live. And then those other, 4-ish, 5 months are the down season. And there's a lot that you can do with our concept in the down season. And we've gone out to breweries. Breweries are still open. The only things that are not really going on anymore during the down season are just the events. And we are events-based. We're an events-based business. So that's really the bread and butter. And then, when you get into the colder months, you really got to go out and search for those other things. But like Olivia was saying, corporate events like employee lunches, those don't close during the cold season.
Yeah. There's still some holiday events that happen.
Yeah, there's still some holiday events.
You can be a part of,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so there's definitely some opportunity, especially with our concept, to go out and find more work.
Okay, no, that sounds good. You've thought through it, you've lived it, and this isn't just something that's making money 8 months out of the year. So that's great. So talk a little bit, if you would please, about, from based on what you've learned. I know, again, you're an emerging concept. There aren't a lot of franchisees here today for you. You're just starting to surge and to grow. But what types of people, based on your lessons learned, are going to thrive in this concept? What skills matter the most? And probably as importantly, who might not be a good fit, right? Like, so people can self-select in or out.
Yeah, I mean, we definitely are looking for just parents of kids that are in youth league. Obviously they would be an awesome fit with us. They're already associated with, youth league in their community. People that are just really community oriented. They are the mayor of the town. They
Yeah.
love to go out and meet people, talk to people,
talk about baseball.
Yeah, just things.
involved.
Yeah, exactly. Just athletes, of all nature.
Yeah.
They could be in baseball or football. They played in school, or even they're semi-professional, even professionals that are retired. Veterans are really big. Obviously veterans. We have an all Americana theme. They would love our brand, and it really would fit for anyone. We try to think of just candidates that maybe it wouldn't fit for, and it could really fit for anybody.
Yeah.
Obviously,
as long as you put in the work.
yeah,
you
yeah.
know?
And you don't even need food or food truck experience. We didn't have
any. Yeah.
We didn't have
We're
any
not chefs.
Yeah, we didn't have any food truck experience. We didn't have any restaurant experience, but we just got in there and we tinkered with things, and we figured out what worked and what didn't. And now after 6 years of doing this, I feel like we have something really concrete that is proven and it works.
No, that's fantastic. That's really great. So when you think about the different types of people, not everybody wants to cook a hot dog, right? Not everybody wants to hang out at an event. Like, do you think this works well for like semi-absentee, or are you really thinking owner-operators, or like, what does it take to run one of these? What type of skills would you need to hire? Talk a little bit about that.
The owner-operator model is definitely the preferred model, just in the food truck industry.
Okay.
That is definitely where you can if you wanted to. It's just a 2, maybe 3-person operation, depending on the event size. So that model is definitely kind of what's known in the food truck industry. However, with this concept, we also have an executive model where, if you have other businesses that you're running, you can hire just an all-star staff to just go out and physically do the operations for you.
So that route would be the more semi-absentee route. But again, you have to have good staff. You got to make sure you're on time at the events. You got to have good customer service. You got to not run out of food. Make sure your inventory is good. If you're not getting a manager that's on top of all that, you're not going to be successful. You got to make sure you're booking all the right events. You respond to all your requests. Things like that. All those things have to line up.
Yeah, and definitely with that executive model, that staff that you hire, they can go out and they can work, 40 hours a week for you or so.
Yep.
With the owner-operator model, you're doing a lot. You're doing the bookings, you're doing the financials, you're doing the inventory, you're doing the prep work, you're actually going out and serving. So there's a lot more that goes into that. It's a lot more rewarding, if you do the owner-operator model. And
it's a lot more labor intensive.
And it's just more labor-intensive. So you just got to look at, both sides of those.
Yeah. Though it sounds to me, Steven and Olivia, that the people who are the perfect fit for this, community-oriented, love sports, into youth sports, they're already going to these events anyway. They love to mingle. They love to be a part of it. They're in the thick of things.
Why not make money?
Why not be there and make money and offer a valuable service? Bring some joy to people's hearts and faces and all that. So I think that's really cool. Let's talk just a little bit about your stage of growth. I know that as we mentioned, you're very early on in your franchising journey. You've been running the concept. You've got rock solid processes. You know how to be successful here. You've simplified it. You've made it profitable. But how can a candidate assess their local market? Like, is this a good fit for a stadium on wheels?
We've been in 3 different markets now. We've been in Chicagoland. We've been in Phoenix, and then we've been in Indianapolis.
And it's been successful in all 3, I would say.
Yeah. Obviously, those are big cities. But we have tested. When we were in Phoenix, or even here when we're in Indianapolis, we've gone out to the rural areas.
And we get requests from those areas a lot because they don't really have many food truck
They don't
options.
have a lot of options. Yeah, they don't
So-
have many food, just general food
Yeah.
options where they live.
Like
sometimes.
catering or restaurants, things of that nature.
So yeah, I mean, this concept could definitely work in all areas in the U.S. We feel that even when you're out in the rural areas, it might even be more popular, just because, like we were saying, there's not a lot of food options. There's youth sports anywhere you go.
Yeah,
in
doesn't
the
matter
U.S.
where you go.
And you just, as far as like territory size, we have a territory size of 250,000 people.
Okay.
That area that you can go to when you're out in the rural area, you're going to get a big chunk of land that you can really go out and explore and, things like that. So, yeah.
I mean, every city has events, festivals, things going on the weekends, no matter what city you're in. So
Yeah.
and you can get booked for any of those events.
And you're mobile. You don't have to sit there and wait for customers to come through your door. If you're worried about that in a smaller town, you can just get up and go and drive to that event or that festival and serve them there.
It also sounds like a person or a family maybe who's trying to start a new business, create an asset for their own future. Doesn't sound like they have to come in and do 60 hours a week to make this work, right? I mean, it sounds like they could, as long as they understand their break-even points and know how many, events they need to do a year. Could this be an evenings and weekends thing, or what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, I would say the bulk of our business is just evenings and weekends. I mean, we get a few catering every so often, every week, but I mean, I would say it could be, you can choose however much you want to work.
Very flexible.
Yeah, it can be part-time, it can be 40 hours a week, 50 hours a week, however you want to get booked.
Yeah.
So
it's really what you put into it is what you're going to get back.
what are your goals?
Yeah,
if
what
you
are
want
your
to
goals?
make, over $200,000 a year, you're going to want to be booked 6 or 7 days a week. If your goal is a lot less than that, you don't have to work as much.
Yeah.
What are your goals?
And kind of one of the things that people worry about the most is, hey, when I get into this, am I going to get booked? And the answer is yes. There's so many opportunities out there.
Everyone has to eat.
Everybody's got to eat. It's you have one of the best food trucks. You're going to have one of the best food trucks on the road with Stadium on Wheels. It's, you're going to be driving on the road. People are going to look at you. You'll probably get phone calls while you're driving just to your next
And
event.
who doesn't love a hot dog? And again,
Yeah.
if you don't eat meat, we got vegetarian
Yeah.
options.
And
pretzels.
we do have just processes in place to get you booked. We have lead generators. We're
okay.
going to get you definitely out there. We'll get you known and seen.
Once you start getting booked after a few months, you'll start seeing people reach out to you, asking for your business card.
Yeah.
They're going to see you on the road. They're going to want you for their next event because people are always looking for food at their events and festivals.
It seems like the type of concept that would do well on social media, right? People posting pics of their giant hot dogs or the cool looking Stadium on Wheels in the background and at a
Yeah.
fun fair event. Are you seeing that? Do you see it?
Oh yeah, kids. Whenever a kid gets their hot dog, they're like, "Oh my god, wow!" And then parents take pictures with it. They get a little bubble gum with it that
nice.
makes their day. And even adults, they get wowed by it and they take goofy pictures of it and it's like, "Oh my god,
Whenever
look
we
at this hot dog!"
whenever we hand it out the window, their eyes light up, and usually their phone comes out, and they're
Yeah.
taking pictures of it. And
Yeah.
and that's another thing is just our food truck. It's not just a food truck. We have an inflatable stadium as well, and
What's in an inflatable stadium?
it's an inflatable stadium. So there's a little baseball that hovers over a cone. And you can hit the ball into these little holes in the backdrop. It's just a lot of fun.
It's a little home run derby.
Yeah,
Okay,
it's an extra
very
add
nice.
on.
It's an additional revenue stream for us, and then that's also another big differentiator that with us and compared to other trucks because it's additional revenue. We charge rental fee for that, and lots of corporate companies pay for that because they want an interactive experience to have for their employees,
Yeah.
and then also as well as catering for birthdays and graduations,
Yeah.
things of that nature.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fantastic. I love that. There was something else I really appreciated in some of the early things I learned about your concept where people don't necessarily have to wait in line for their hot dog, right? You have some processes you've built that really bring the stadium to the people. Talk about that a little bit.
So we have what's called our walking vendor, and obviously if you're at any sports events, you see the walking vendors selling hot dogs or cotton candy or lemonade up and down the aisle. we have that just on our food truck. So we have people that walk around with a sterno bag. If lines get really, really long, people are getting mad.
They just want a quick hot
They
dog.
just want a quick hot dog. They don't
Their
want to
kid
wait
is
as long.
screaming and
Yeah.
yelling and hangry.
We'll deploy our walking vendor to go out in the lines if they want just a plain hot dog.
It would just be plain hot dogs.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if they want a plain footlong hot dog, we got them ready to go. So
These are good for those big events like 4th of July and like all day events where people are just, there's lines everywhere, and
Yeah.
you want to have an additional revenue income.
Yeah, or even we'll deploy one or two out into the crowds, at a big 4th of July event or just a concerts in your park. We'll just let them roam free in the crowd, and usually it's pretty successful. So that's kind of another little cute thing that we do that brings the
Yeah.
ballpark experience to people.
Yeah, again, another real standout, element. When we talk about differentiation and the experience, I think that's really great. So can we talk a little bit about resilience of the business model? If you started this in 2019, you experienced COVID, right? You experienced a lot of things. How does the model perform during downturns?
Honestly, I feel like it actually helps us because people are, at least during COVID, first of all, everyone has to eat. Second of all, people wanted to eat outdoors during COVID because they didn't want to stay inside. You had to be 6 feet apart. And again, people are also looking when there's economic downturn, they're looking for affordable food. Hot dogs are a little bit more affordable compared to other cuisines.
Yeah, and like Olivia was saying, during COVID as well, that hit us right at the beginning of our journey, and that's kind of when it was a pivotal point where we decided, all of our events canceled that year. We said, hey, why don't we move to a warmer state? This is why we moved to Arizona from Chicago in the first place. We were like, let's go to a warmer state. Let's, food truck friendly state and see how this goes. And when we moved out to Arizona, it was in the midst of COVID. And even though that was such a terrible time, for everybody, the food truck community really took off.
Yes, it boomed.
And the reason for that is just because a lot of the brick and mortars closed down. A lot of people stayed at home. Because of our mobile concept, we were able to go to them, and it just really exploded from there. And that's really the reason why we were like, hey, I think we really have something here. We can maybe franchise this model.
Obviously, there's always different types of economic downturns, but again, people always have to eat. No matter what's going on in their life, they have to eat. If they're gonna want to go out to eat and they're having a tough time, they want to go out to eat somewhere that's a little more affordable. Yes, I know we sell footlongs, but we sell hot dogs. So compared to like a burger truck or a lobster truck, definitely a lot more
Barbecue
affordable.
truck, yeah.
Barbecue truck, yeah.
Yeah. No. Okay. No, that's good. Thank you for sharing that. Let's talk a little bit about the investment. High level overview. What's the total investment range? If somebody says, I want to get into the Stadium on Wheels business, what do they have to be prepared to invest?
Yeah, so it's kind of a large range to invest in, just because we do allow our franchisees to choose either a trailer, a Stadium on Wheels trailer, or a Stadium on Wheels truck. Okay. So you're still looking at anywhere from the low end would be 90,000 up to 180 for the truck. Obviously, things fluctuate, prices fluctuate, so we can't give an exact number. But yeah, that's kind of the range. It's definitely a lower investment than a lot of other franchises that are out there on the market.
The only thing is, with the trailer option, you obviously would have to own or purchase a vehicle that can tow it.
Yeah, it would be a 5,000 pound capacity tow for that trailer. But yeah, like I said, it's a lot lower investment than a lot of franchises out there. It's something that will bring a return fairly quickly, if you really put the work into it. So yeah.
Yeah, so it seems like the type that would ramp up quickly, you'd have cash flow quickly. Let's talk about support and systems. If franchisees become a part of your family, what do they receive in return for their investment and any royalties? What tools? What support? What what ongoing processes? Yeah.
Yeah, so once you sign on with us, we are hoping to get our food trucks built out within 4 months. So we can get those built out. We want to knock that down to, get those out sooner, obviously, as we progress. But within that time frame that we're building out the truck, we're going to get them prepared to launch in their communities. And we really want to build that fan base in their community. So we're going to get them localized marketing. We have what's called Stadium on Wheels game day outreach, where we're going to just reach out to all the park districts, just the event coordinators out there, and just really be known in that community. We'll also do our Stadium on Wheels fan days. So once they actually get their truck up and running, we're going to have a grand opening for them. And then every month we're going to have fan days to where they can just really, grow that fan base. But yeah, we'll get their licenses and permits ready to go so that once they get their food truck in their driveway on day one, they can get out there and start serving. So everything's just going to be ready for them. It's something that you can get into. The business will be built out fairly quickly, and we can just get on the road and just start serving.
Awesome. That's great. Now, it's September 2025 at the time of this recording. Are there any places in the country we can't go yet? Like, people are listening from all over the country. So are there any places we're limited at this moment?
So we're filing in a few more states in the next week. Yeah. So we're going to be in most states. There's a few registration states. I don't really know off the top of my head.
So, we're not in like the bigger registration sites, for instance, like California,
New York, unfortunately.
Illinois, New York.
Yeah.
So I'm in New York, so I can't get a Stadium on Wheels nearby anytime real soon, but maybe.
Unfortunately, now we obviously, our goal is to get registered in all 50 states.
Sure.
And, there's some states that are a little harder. I know New York's a little bit harder. California's hard to get into.
But right now we're in all like the states that you can sell in, that are open to sell. But we're now currently adding Texas, Florida, Nebraska, Indiana, and there's one more. I can't think of it.
Yeah.
But we're working on those 5 states right now.
But the good news is that a lot of the warmer states we are registered in.
Yeah,
so
Arizona.
Yeah, so
already open to sell.
Yeah, so obviously the warmer states, you're going to get a longer food truck season in those states. And
Florida was the last one. Yeah, because we want to target Florida.
Yeah, Florida is definitely one of the places we want to target the most. Texas, obviously, and so we're in those states.
But we're working on those. Yeah.
Well, I mean, that creates a lot of opportunity as people are evaluating the brand as you grow and as you enter new markets. People who are evaluating the concept, they have a chance, right? It's not a saturated market for you. It's wide open, and I think that's a very exciting stage of growth for you and for potential franchisees who really get passionate about this combination of the community, sports, baseball, a great experience, youth, all of it together. Hot dogs. Who doesn't love hot dogs, right? So I think that's terrific. Let's talk just real briefly about why this is a good business, what you've built, what makes the Stadium on Wheels food truck and all that goes into it an attractive model. What is it about? Is it the margins? Is it the demand? Is it the scalability? Like what is it that makes this an attractive business?
It's definitely, I would say, the flexibility just to work when you want, and just going to the customer when you want, the affordability of it.
Yeah. Our flat fee royalty. Yeah, because you know exactly how much you're paying every month, and you know what you can set your goals as to. Okay, I'm paying this much every month. What is my goal going to be based off of that flat fee?
Yeah.
So you can scale that. I mean, your royalty fee could be minuscule compared to your sales if you want it to be.
Yeah, definitely. So it's definitely it's a fun brand. The profitability of it is just awesome. Especially if you work it as an owner operator, the profits margins are just great on it.
Compared to brick and mortar, I would say.
Definitely
yes.
compared to brick and mortar, or even
Because you don't have a lease, you don't have utilities, you don't have rent.
Yeah,
You know.
yeah, and it's just a fun overall brand. It's something that, you know, if you're in a job that you just don't like, and it's kind of, you know, dragging you down, and you want to be in something that you enjoy doing every day. This is, and especially if you're a sports fan or a foodie, you know, this is something that you can really enjoy doing every day.
And then again, with the flexibility, if you want to start this off as a side hustle and see how it goes, and then it starts growing and growing, yeah, then you can quit your full-time job and do this if you see that it's doing really well. So you get that flexibility to run it how you want.
No, that's fantastic. Yeah, there's a lot of good, a lot of upside here. So I really appreciate you kind of stepping through that. Let's do a final takeaway, I guess, if we will. If there's one thing you'd want candidates to remember as they consider ownership of a Stadium on Wheels franchise, what would that be?
One thing that they would want to remember is just, you know, this is such a great opportunity just to get into something that, you know, is fun and something that will really, you know, make your day each and every day.
You're giving people an experience.
You're giving people an experience. We have a brand that's that brings smiles to kids' faces and adults
You're making people's
alike.
birthday parties, graduation parties,
Yeah.
you know, milestones, retirements, a corporate, you know, big corporate event. Like, you're at these big moments for some people's lives, and they're gonna remember it sometimes for the rest of their lives.
Yeah,
So it's
exactly.
something fun. You're making an impact in your local community. You're going to all their local festivals that you see your friends and families and neighbors all attending, and they're like, oh my God, I know that person. That's Stadium on Wheels. I live next door to them. We see our neighbors at our events all the time.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
We definitely get that here, you know, when we're at events, you know, oh wow, you guys own the Stadium on Wheels? That's so cool. So
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely something fun. I mean, compared to other franchises out there, you know, whether it be service, you know, home services, you know, or this we're fun.
yeah.
No, that's great. Yeah, and that means a lot. You know, especially, you know, mid-career, later in career. You know, a lot of people had the same experience as you, Steven. Right? We know that the corporate life, yeah, it pays the bills, but boy, it can suck the soul dry. Right? And to be able to find something, if we're looking for some meaning, community impact, you know, bringing smiles to people's faces, you know, bringing joy to people's hearts, you know, being a part of these community events. I mean, that's deeply meaningful. So that's a great takeaway. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Well, again, Steven, Olivia, thank you so much for taking time with me today. You know, for anybody who's listening to this, if you've ever wanted to own a food truck and you just weren't sure where to start, Stadium on Wheels is a fantastic place to look first. It's a great business model, proven out in good times and bad economically, great margins, some unique experiences that make it differentiated from other food trucks, and a lot of nice business advantages with the way inventory is run, and, you know, frozen foods, low waste, high margins, real good, great business. So feel free to contact me if you want to explore Stadium on Wheels. Would love to get you the information you need to see if it's a great fit for you. Thank you so much, Steven, Olivia.
Thank you.
Thanks, Scott.